And then there's all those guys that didn't have a Chinaman's chance of surviving. You've heard that expression? That's another good bit of Americana. They haven't got a Chinaman's chance of getting through that one, buddy. The reference there comes to the coolie labor that was expendable, imported into this country to lay track on the Transcontinental Railroad and to do the dangerous work in the deep shaft mines in California, in South Dakota, and elsewhere. You don't have a Chinaman's chance refers to their life expectancy. Nobody kept them alive or even tried to because they were of no value. They could be replaced so cheaply and so easily. Work them to death in a hurry and replace them with someone else. Oh yeah, they were there too. And all the, what is it they call them? Wetbacks? Yeah, wetbacks getting across a river that this country that we're in imposed upon another country as it gobbled up the northern half of that other country. Oh yeah, you're going to turn people into migrant laborers, virtual slave laborers, and so forth as an onus for crossing a river to get back home. And that's really what that comes down to. That whole mishmash, that whole nightmare, that all came to bear. Large boil, lanced, pus splatters. That's what I saw as being possibly the motive. Because there is a sort of an intuitive consciousness of all this if you're not a part of the self-anointed master race. And that's who it is that we're talking about when we're talking about the need for security. Go down to one of these LA gated communities and see who it is that's being secured and from what. When they're talking about our security, they're not talking about us. They're talking about them and securing themselves from us. Yeah. Us got more in common with your average Iraqi, Palestinian, Indo-Chinese, and so on than we ever had with a George Bush or a Dick Cheney. And that's simply a natural fact. And there are a whole lot of white people who fit that description of being people of color, too. You can ask people in Appalachia about that one. Okay? Scotch-Irish, internal colonized coal miners sent down and expendable, too. So just because you're white, don't be foolish enough to think that they won't use you like toilet paper. It comes expedient to keeping their quality of life up to tune. Okay? You can't get people across the Rio Grande. They're going to be turning you into their gardeners. Okay? I slipped there. That's actually Rio Bravo, isn't it? And Rio Bravo is not just a John Wayne movie. That's somebody else's name for that river, and that's somebody else. Well, now. Understand the nature of it. As long as you're acting this way in the world, or this country is acting this way in the world and doing so in your name, and you're not responding, you're going to be subject to this kind of attack, and that's a natural phenomenon. Anyone placed in that position would respond the same way. Hey, the guys have been trying to shoot me. Oh yeah, they canceled that one up there in Hamilton on serious grounds. The JTTF decided they couldn't secure that one. That was in New York State, and that was at the front end of this thing. And they just validated my point all to hell and gone. I said, what you do is you have people either in direct proximity that you love, that you revere, that are a part of your life, or that symbolically fulfill that role. And you have them slaughtered violently. And then you have people that you associate with those who slaughter them, speak of them in a way that seems to devaluate, demean, degrade, dehumanize them to the point of, oh, I don't know, let's just pick a term out of, you probably heard this one on CNN, collateral damage. You compound the agony of their loss with that kind of behavior, and they will try to kill you. And good Americans will do that just as fast as Arabs. And those good Americans in New York proved the point. They felt that I had demeaned, even dehumanized, those they loved, although that sounds like I'm laying it on the families, and to my knowledge the families weren't involved. It was people acting in the name of the families who were attempting to kill me, doing exactly what it was those Arabs had done, right down to the point of acting in the names of the victims, Much has been made of the fact that nobody on those aircraft was actually Iraqi, so how could they be responding for the deaths of the Iraqi children? And the point was, you don't have to be in that kind of direct proximity. If you've got a shred of humanity and children are being eradicated, people are being killed for things that you cannot countenance, you will respond if there's no alternative made available to you. If there is no sort of cognitive dissonance in the perpetrator society about the perpetration of the deed, you will kill them. Simple equation. Now we've got an understanding of the substance of terrorism. In order to be able to deal with any phenomenon, you first have to be able to understand it. That's my explanation of it. You can accept it, you can reject it, but that's what that articulation was about. Having defined the phenomenon, the question then, what do you do about it? Because there was all that hoo-ha about security. Okay, and the security is going to be hanged on an analysis of the events that you can counterpose to my own that I just handed you. You heard it at length. Now let me give you the other side verbatim. Well, they did it because they're evil. They hate freedom. They're evil. They hate freedom. They hate freedom. They're evil. Evil. Freedom. Hate it. No. Yeah. Sound bites. Absolutely devoid of anything analytically useful at all. And from there you're going to get a security system that works on the basis of what? Invading other countries and multiplying the degree of resentment, the pain, the anguish. Continue to refer to those who were slaughtered as collateral damage. Talking about their deaths and immiseration as if it was of a benefit to them rather than you. That's going to solve the problem. You're going to do it by greater degree of firepower, the cloning out of Delta units and special operations groups and proliferating them around the planet, by curtailing rights and liberties here and pounding tweezers at airports. You remember the last time those terrorists got on a plane and got the stewardess down and were tweezing her eyebrows until she screamed for mercy and said, "I'll fly the plane into the building. Just stop tweezing me." Charged a guy down in, I don't know, somewhere around Orange County, an Asian guy that was pissed off at his boss, built a pipe bomb. They hauled him in and charged him with possession of a weapon of mass destruction. I'm not making this up. Going absolutely Looney Tunes on the home front. More SWAT teams, more cops running around wearing black military uniforms with boots. More firepower than the average city police force than most third world armies. Licensing torture. Gitmo and its camps and camps you've never heard of in about 30 countries around the world. And on and on and on. You want to hang your security on that because it comes out of that funny little analysis about their evil and hate freedom. So let's see. To secure ourselves against that evil that hates freedom, we'll abolish freedom here and then every place else as a progressive gesture, okay, and turn the whole thing into this absolutely lockstep, regimented, orderly conflagration in the name of... Fill in the blank for me here, somebody. We got a bright audience. These are all students. In the name of what? Yeah, right. You want to see how that works? I got a real good idea for you. Get in a long distance line and call a random Israeli. Because they got the world's most highly developed security state of that type. They've got borders much shorter and easily defensible than you have in North America for the United States, and they got a relatively homogeneous population. And the last time I heard, you got 14-year-old kids walking in with bundles of dynamite strapped to their body and blowing Israelis right out the window of their cafes. You want to hang your hat for security on that? Well, if so, leave me out. And leave my kids and the rest of my family out too. Go ahead and give it a roll. And don't complain in the aftermath. Or you could try a different way. What would the different way look like?